Computer. Lights.
How long is that trail off, I swear? I was actually just wondering, how long does that thing sit there and spool out? Happy Monday, everyone. And I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. And if you're not, I hope you're joining me for comic drawing, which is what we're going to do today. So I am going ahead and load a Springs file for us because we're going to do a Springs comic today. Does that sound like a great idea? That sounds like a great idea. We're going to also do warm-ups here in just a second. Just wanted to make sure I had loaded this pretty good. This is going to be 242. 242. 2021-4-19-242. Oh, I got to go through all these numbers. Okay. Let's go ahead and move ourselves over to the desk and get started on practice for today. All right. So this was the 15th practice. We're going to bring up a new sheet of paper, which the cat has already pre-watered. I'm not exactly sure what he was doing walking around on there, but that's all right. Looks like it's already kind of deciding to semi-rain outside. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? Okay. For this warm-up, you'll need just a normal ruler. In this case, I'm using a scale, an engineering scale, but that's because it's my father's engineering scale, and I really kind of like using it. But I use it as a straight edge, and I really like engineering scales because they're easy to pick up. Normal, when you put down a normal ruler, you have to kind of fuss with it to pick it up. So you'll need a regular pencil. You'll need what we call a fine liner, which is any kind of pen that's probably more like a felt tip on it. But I really would like for that to be a felt tip and not in fact a ballpoint or whatever. And you'll need just a French curve. You can use anything. You can use anything that's round. We're just going to do some round stuff at some point here. So, and like I said, you can use anything. I've got a ruler here that I bought at one point in time, which has a pickup bar here, so you can pick it up, which I thought was great. But I prefer using my dad's engineering scale, just because it's an engineering scale and it belonged to my dad, and that means a lot to me. Okay. With this, then, we're going to take, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw two lines. One here, and then two lines long ways like this. So when you draw these lines, we want to make sure we don't go all the way to the edge, right? Just to here, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing about this has to be perfect, by the way. Right? This is not a perfect thing. And we're just going to take the ruler here and go the long way. So This is practice and warming up. So we're going to be practicing and doing this. And then we're going to do 2 lines right here, which are just the start and the end, not in between. Don't draw anything between. And we'll do another one right here, right in between. There we go. Start here and there. And that's it. So you can have dot, 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 line, 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 line. Now with the French curve or with your round thing, heck, I have used mugs before for this. I've even used my coffee cup. I've done all kinds of stuff for this. But what we're going to do is we're just going to draw some curves. And we're doing the curves because we always need to practice curves. It doesn't matter how you draw them. All right, now that we've done this, here's the way we practice. We take our fine liner pen. And we're going to draw over this line. But when we do, we want to make sure we lift our elbow off the table. Don't lean on it like this. You want to lift your elbow up. You want to lift your wrist up. And then you can use your pinky as a guide if you need to. You can guide with your pinky, but you can't lay your wrist down, okay? So, and then just draw a straight line. I'm going to do this 4 times. 2 up and 2 back. So, 2 up and 2 back. We'll do the same thing with these long lines. And it's okay. Excuse me. It's okay if you do it wrong. There's no right way of doing this. The idea here is that you're trying to get better at following this line. Now with these 2 here, we're going to practice not looking at our pen. We're going to practice not looking at the pen. So we start here. We don't look at the pen. We look at where we're going, right? Same thing. Start here. And you want to just practice getting straight about going to the very edge there. Okay. With the curves, same thing. Try to follow the curves. Nah. Sweet. There we go. And that's how you do it. All right. And today is the 19th. You always want to date these so you can remember what you did and how well you did and see where you've grown. Good morning, Colton. You warming up with me over here? These are good warm-ups that I'm doing. I don't think you've been with me this entire time, but I had gone to this website called drawabox.com. And the thing that the guy had said in that website was that a lot of us artists are missing some core concepts, some like really base core concepts, like being able to just freehand draw straight lines and things like that. And so the idea was that he wanted you to just practice 250 straight lines. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of straight lines. But the thing he was trying to do was get us to get our elbows off the desk, get our wrist off the desk, all these things that are like drawing 101 that so many of us have forgotten over the years. And so I've been kind of doing that every morning at the beginning of these shows, if I can, whenever I don't have you guys on obviously. But the idea was that, we kind of get kind of warmed up, used to having our elbows off the table. Get your elbows off the table. I think my grandma used to say that all the time. Get your elbows off the table. Anyway, so that's where we were on that one. So, how you doing this morning? You doing good this morning? I'm going to go on ahead and take my cloth here, and I'm going to clean my monitor off because, of course, you might imagine over the weekend my monitor has gathered a lot of dust, as it often does. I've been having a nostalgia weekend, going out onto YouTube and finding old music videos from anime from the 80s and 90s and watching those. It's been kind of fun. So that's been my morning. Okay. I have a joke I was going to do here. And that's not it. I have a lot of notes all around my table here, which I was trying to figure out where the notes are for. There is a note somewhere. Gotta find all of my notes and get them together somewhere along the line. Man. I've got so many of these little notes, and it's so difficult to... We're working on springs today. Okay. Man. We're working on springs today, provided I can find the note that I made, which told me the joke I was going to do today. Because there were a couple of them where I had the notes for what we were supposed to do today. I seem to have lost them. I have not lost them. I just don't know where in the heck I put them. Well, there we go. So what are you working on today, my good man? Knowing that that's where we are on things, what are you working on? What's your battle plan today? I'm going to make sure I have my coffee and my tea. I don't know where I put my... So let's think of something funny, because I don't know where it went. An awful lot of notes, and oh, there. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not. I have to do something with all of my various pieces of paper, because the only one I've got here is a note about pandemic, and that's not what we're looking for. Okay. Yeah. Clothed figure drawing was always kind of tough for me, I remember. Drapery was always like really complicated for some reason. It's like I always had problems with drapery. I don't know. That's like a thing. Okay, first things first, we're going to get rid of that. This is 242. We'll move this guy over. Put him there. Right? You know what's really sucky? When you get the model and they put him or her in an actual like blanket. And then you're like, thanks. That's rough. But right, exactly. Just wearing a tube of fabric, and you're like, thanks. This is going to be rough. It's so funny because people think so many interesting things about how like us artists or must have like a great life because there's a whole bunch of naked people, and I keep thinking, yeah, except that you don't understand how hard this is. This is like really complicated stuff. And it's not just naked people all the time. Sometimes they put clothes on them, and then it's even worse. Okay. Switch to orange here. Take off the blue. My gradients. And then I want to go through. And we're going to go through to the panels. And we're on a 4-panel here, but I'm wondering whether we couldn't do a 1-panel joke. Wouldn't it be funny to do a 1-panel joke? So let's switch to 1. I've got a 1-panel. So I keep all of the combinations that I could think of in here. We've got like a 2-panel version and a 3-panel version. And then I've got a 1+3 and a 3+1. And as far as I can tell, those are the only combos. Right? Well, and that's the problem I've got is like without them being naked, you have to figure out their proportions. And you have to kind of figure it out by eyeballing it and hoping that you got it right. You know, if they're just wearing like a big blanket, you're like, thanks, jerks. And it's really rough. Add a layer in here. And put the raster layer underneath the panel. We head over to my blue, right here. Because that's the thing. You get like the person, and you get these huge like draperies. And then the worst part is that they'll stick their elbow out like right there. And you're like, is that an elbow? Where's the elbow? And then you have to kind of like try to imagine where the body is inside here. You know, you're like, where is that body? Ah, that's rough. I agree. It is a brutal thing. Okey smoky. Okay. Do our pin check. It's a little thick, but I think it's correct. Yeah, it's roughly correct. Okay. So we have one joke. I know what we can do. We put RC upside down. Right? Because RC is perpetually doing something silly. All right, so we'll put him upside down. And AR is over here commenting, and so is right? And the joke can be, okay, did he get that might be pretty obscure. But that's right, we are kind of getting there. So what NASA finally got happening today was that the little helicopter that they sent to Mars took off. Finally. Excuse me. I'm allergic to little helicopters. It's taken them like a month to prep the helicopter to fly. I had already made a joke earlier about Rover talking to the little helicopter, and they sat there and beeped and bopped back and forth for like the entire strip. And then apparently they'd been at it for 5 hours. So now I'm trying to figure out whether I can make enough of a gag about this to make this funny. And I'm trying to kind of work this out, sort of that, the idea being that RC had managed to somehow flip himself over just trying to get the helicopter to fly. And maybe that's it. It's an awful lot of effort to get a drone helicopter to fly. Maybe that's a better joke. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, I know. You know what? Let's not go there. Let's go to this. So there we go. So getting coffee, you say. He is truly talented. Oh, I know what it is. Hey. There we go. Mornings are hard. Nothing like a good morning joke. Good morning. Right. Kind of work this out a little bit here. There we go. So the joke here is mornings are hard, which, I picked on mornings a couple of times, so this is fine. we'll add some things here on the ground. Including, of course, a broken coffee cup. It's important. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to watch is that I've got a perspective problem here. Like, this guy's, we're going to have to move AR a little bit because he's clearly not standing on the same floor. We'll increase his size a little bit here. And sketch it and just make sure I've got all of the pieces going the right way. You know, it could have been, wonder if there's a kind of coffee out there that specifically like sounds more destructive than it really is. Yeah. Like some kind of explosive roast. Let's look. Let's look and see, shall we? Is there some kind of great name that we don't know about? Let's see. Could be just that it was espresso, because that might be it. It was a double espresso. There we go. That's probably the better joke. You can kind of see how I evolve the joke over time here. I'm like, well, let's see here. Now what I'll do is I'll put in the dialogue, because that'll give me good spacing as to where all of these things go. And I'm going to have to go on ahead and fight the dialogue. So we all know that that's going to be a thing. So, getting coffee. Now, I always try to keep my text font, same size. There we go. Getting all kinds of fancy because I'm drawing. No, this is the same format I've always used. What do you mean? What do you mean fancy? Who are you? Who are you? What have you done with Brian? Wait, I know that. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the show. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to go in here and let's get this in here. What is that with me? Oh, the sidebar of text that pops in. Oh, yeah. Isn't that kind of cool? I like that. Well, this thing right here. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. They added that. They added that just recently, and now, like, instead of me sitting here going, "Yes, that's a great idea," and everybody going, now you guys can all like read what I'm doing or read what people are saying. So yeah, that's been kind of an interesting addition to my show. And then we'll put in it is pretty fancy though. There we go. Yay! Okay. Now I've got all the jokes in, I think. Though it's a he, not an it, so let's. Is just getting coffee. I've got lots of room, even if it means that I have to kind of go back and redo this panel piece right through here. Welcome back. And Brian's being Brian. He's like making comments about the fanciness of this. All right. Okie dokie. One of the things I'm noticing is perspective is way off for RC, so we're going to flip him over or pull him down just a little bit here. And the truth is, usually whenever I flip over RC or have RC driving, his little treads like pop up in a little V shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the benefit of this. Right. Kind of put his little treads up into a V shape like so. Get these things straightened out in a second here. Like he's having a hard time kind of getting ground at this point in time anyway. It's always humorous to turtle poor RC, and I don't know why. There we go. And I'll face him the other direction too while we're at it. Very like that. I'll face him this way. There we go. That way he's kind of looking backwards. To be fair, it was a double espresso. Yeah. When I draw springs, it's always sort of slice of life and supposed to be very cute and simple. So I have no like delusions of deep discussion. Every time I try to get deep with this comic, like I can't think of jokes. It just, everything kind of clogs up. So all of the jokes have to always be about, drinking too much coffee or getting stuck in traffic or stuff like that. It's a slice of life comic. I say that because I know none of these jokes are like super deep, and they never really are. And I don't care. That's not really the point. I enjoy drawing my little comic strip of slice of life for robots, my robot slice of life comic strip. I'm going to kind of sprawl out his wheels a little like this so that he's kind of like they're like this. Yeah, quirky jokes. They're quirky. That's what I like. I tried a while back. I tried to kind of get deeper with the jokes and make a long arc storyline and stuff like that. And I think the muse just walked right out the door. My muse was not interested in that at all. And I just ended up stopped completely. So, I know better. I have learned a long time ago that this is no deeper than Peanuts ever gets, I don't even think I can hit kind of the points that Calvin and Hobbes was hitting, I think that this is just supposed to be quirky, funny slice of life. And that's all we were just destined to do with the springs, which is fine. It's always an interesting thing because I have always kind of wondered where does the inspiration for our drawing come from? Where are we? Where are our muses digging up this stuff to draw and to do stories and things like that? Well, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be just a very harmless newspaper comic, and I think that's exactly what I've always kind of wanted to be with Springs. Never really wanted to be, difficult or complicated. It's always supposed to be just warm and fuzzy. A good comic to read when you want just to kind of get away from the world a little bit. Sometimes I make space jokes here, and sometimes that's about all we ever really do. I was making jokes about the helicopter on Mars, and that was funny. So and that's fine. I totally cool with it, and it's kind of like that's the way it should be. Okay, let's go ahead and ink it in. I've made a pretty good rough here, so we'll head in on the ink. And Raphael and Christina have been talking about the idea of possibly making this into a book that they can sell at conventions. And then COVID hit. So which is great because it's taking me freaking forever to edit all of these comics. And that's okay. Because all of the old comics need to kind of be looked around and, spelling errors made, corrected. And some of them are just really weirdly in the weirdest formats. And I don't know what the heck I was thinking with some of these. But it occurs to me that I really should be assembling that book in here. I like his wheels are all chaotic. Like his little wheels are they're all confused. And they don't know where to go on his tracks. Little treads have no idea where to go. There you go. I made some kind of joke earlier on the year that RC had joined SpaceX and that their RUDs had increased by 50% since he joined. And he was very proud of it because he didn't know what RUD meant. And of course, anybody who's been following SpaceX knows that RUDs are rapidly unscheduled disassemblies. In other words, he helped them blow up stuff a lot. That's who RC is. He's a little accident prone. And that's the whole joke. And has been for a long time with him. He's accident prone. Right. little pieces of paper. His mug is definitely broken. Over here. There we go. I'll just put some wreckage around him here. Make it look kind of like he really kind of crashed. And we'll actually add some wreckage going out quite a ways. So it looks like he crashed all along this way. Like a pin right there, and a piece of paper right here, another piece of paper right here, overlapping so that we can make it look like he had a bunch of papers he was carrying. It's all physical humor, so there we go. Just like that. And it's like bits and pieces of stuff everywhere. Maybe he had some donuts too. And they are now on the ground. There we go. The entertainment value here is that there is quite a bit of a crash going on here. And then I will put in, like a floor line or something. We're just giving the implication that there's a wall or, something over here that he was kind of headed for. Even a little bit of just something is happening back here. It's like, we'll give it color in a minute and that'll help. I think I want TB to be a little higher though, or lower. Like here. Yeah. So I isolated all of my favorite brushes under Guy's brushes right here in a specialized location, and I keep forgetting it. I'm so used to going back to the pen tool right over here, and I keep forgetting that I have put my G pen, my favorite G pen, into that specific spot. kind of feel like I want this guy to be a little smaller. Like he's there. We go. All right. Yeah. Kind of like that he had his head kind of cocked to one side. Kind of like, how did he do that? You know, kind of adds to the humor value of TV here. Like he's like, how did he pull that off? Exactly. And then AR is just like so. We'll do the same thing, but maybe not that weird. I'll kind of give him sort of a canter as well. Right, and we'll give him kind of almost like both of them are like, how did he pull that off? Yeah. Now, AR's legs are going to be like so. AR always gets 3 segments of leg in here. So I'll extend out his legs whenever I feel like I've gotten kind of too, not. So like this one is going to be here. Undo. One, two, three. One, two, three. I'll put his little boot there like so. There. Oh, nose. All right. When I invented these guys originally, they all had little whip antennas and stuff like that because it was cute. And I have kept that for all these years, even though now it's kind of less of a thing to have whip antennas, I've noticed. Like, there aren't that many devices anymore that have whip antennas. But that didn't stop them from being who they are. And okay. Put like a room back here. Like there was something going on, like a hallway or something back here. Doesn't really matter. It's not important. So now that we've done this, got the inking in, hit the save button. Wait. We're back. I did set up the first comic book for Bellatrix Rising recently, and so it is rigged and ready to go when I finally finish my script. But boy, when I hit save on Clip Studio Paint, now that I've got the entire comic in there, whoo, it blacks the screen out while it thinks it through. It's like terrifying now. Clip Studio Paint doesn't do so well with that kind of stuff, so kind of gets a little wiggy. Go ahead and just clean this line up right here. All right. I'm going to add a new layer underneath here. And this is going to be our color layer. I'm going to pick some neutral colors. I've got a lot of, this is sort of the ongoing color palette right up here. And this palette is the colors that I have chosen for this strip. So I try to look at who I've got going on here. I've got this guy, I've got this guy, and I've got this guy. So we've got the tan and the yellow and the blue. So the background should probably be one of these greens is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to just go back here with this green. And I'm just going to put in this rectangle, right? Like so.
It's time to take a quick break.
Okay, guys, it's time to take a break real quick. Once I've gotten in here, I'm going to finish what I'm doing. And there we go. Like so. All right. Let me find my mouse. All right. Okay, guys, it's break time. So that means we've got to stand up. Everybody should stand up once an hour and stretch. Because, as I am learning the hard way, if you don't get up every hour and stretch and move around, you're going to start having health problems later on in life. I actually am starting to suffer from things like cramps. I'm getting cramps in my calves and in the arches of my feet because I'm sitting so long doing things, and I'll get all ADD hyper focused on something. So I've now set up my Alexa to remind me every hour to get up and move around. You don't have to do a lot. Just get up and walk. I usually just walk around my office real quick and come back and come over here, and I spend a second looking outside where it's rainy today. Looks like it's very overcast and kind of rainy. I did fix this screen, and I'm so excited about fixing the screen. It was like my big project for this last weekend was to fix that screen. Oh, man. So when I moved into this house, that screen had been torn up really badly by the previous owner. They had cats, and the cats tore through the screen. And, you know, I've lived in this house now for 9 years, so it's taken some time for me to finally get around to fixing it. But I finally fixed that screen. And so the screen that's over there is now, and the lights have come back, so our break time is over. It's only, you only need to spend about 5 minutes each hour. Just get up at each hour and move around, get the blood moving. Anyway, so this last weekend fixed that screen and got the new screen put on. It's so cool. I cannot tell you. All righty. Let's get back to work. We have some work to do. All right. So when you do things where you want things that are further back, you kind of grab some darker colors, like so, like this guy right there. That sounds like a good color. And we'll put this in like so. And that's the wrong pin. That's the right pin. Here we go. Right? There we go. So we'll do that. And we'll make the floor, I don't know. I don't want it to be in this pinkish area, and I'm kind of leery of putting it too much to the grays. We can make it a yellow. No, because then he'll fade right into it, won't he? Let's take a look at what we've got going here. So one of the tricks that I will do is I'll duplicate the layer, and then the duplications underneath. You could take that duplicate now and you can fill it in, so that way we can just hit any color we want like this and just fill those in. Uh-oh, that filled the whole page because we weren't completely there, right? We'll come back and fix it in a second. All right. Oops. There we go. So this gives me my basic colors. We'll go in here real quick and we'll patch this guy up with the right pen. One of the things I really love about Clip Studio Paint is this button on the pen is the select tool, and it selects your color. I love that, right? Because that makes it so easy to just snag a color and go in there. All right. We'll go through here. And one of the things we want to kind of do is just clear a little bit of this out right through here, because it's really the underside of his body right over here, which may mean that it might be better off for me to do that, right? The undercarriage being a little different there. We'll go through here and whoops. Well, tap in here just real quick. Like so. And the best part about putting this on a separate layer underneath here is I can just go through here and just messily do this, because we're not going to ever see the undercarriage or the underneath the here. We don't need to worry about keeping track of the pen work, because that's not what you're going to see. You're going to see this. So then I can go through here and kind of clean some of these dots up. I always leave the eyes white so that you can see exactly where they are, so that works. But now let's talk about a neutral floor. We could put gray in for neutral, but gray is so boring, and he's got gray there. I kind of don't want to do that. Parts of me are just saying that pink might be where we're going for this. We'll see. Let's take a look. Right. Plausibly? I don't know. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go underneath that layer, because use all the layers you can, man. You always use layers. And we'll go here and we'll take this guy and go all the way that way. And we will make a gradient. Actually, let's go ahead and do this. Gradient to here. And let's see what we get going that way. That wasn't what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Like sort of like this. There we go. And now with the gradient in, we can pretty much just take everything except the gradient and delete. Right. The top layer will always be white on all these color panels. So we'll always do white on a layer above this. Okay. That's why you're like probably wondering, why is it we have not actually done, say, this guy yet? Right. And it's mostly because in this panel here, we're going to go white and fill like so, like that, and like that. But then here, we're going to take the white and make sure, undo. Make sure that the insides of their eyes are always white. Right. And now we have base colors down. And we probably should do something about all the wreckage here. So we're going to go through here. We're just going to tap that. And we'll go to our fill because we really don't need to. And then we can go back through and because we don't probably want donuts to be gray. That seems like a bad idea. And we'll just add different things here. And we'll just find different colors for the wreckage. This coffee mug needs to be specifically orange so you can see that was his coffee cup that has just gotten mangled really good. And we'll get green and make the pen green and this thing and that right there and this whatever this is. Looks like a toner cartridge from a copier, which all these things makes you go, what was he doing? And we'll give it some chocolate donuts because chocolate donuts are good, right? Here we go. Now we have wreckage all over the place. Now that that's done, we add on top of all of these panels, on top of Old Smoky, we're going to add our 2 normal layers that we do when we do dark or multiply and multiply by 33%, 1/3. We're going to take black, this, and this, and then go through here. We're just going to add shadow. All right. This gives depth to everything. And it doesn't have to be serious. There we go. Now we'll put him on a shadow like so. And we'll put the underside of him very shadowed like so. Naturally, he's kind of laying here, being turtled over. comics. So I mean, really honestly, in the last 21 years since I started this comic, I have only really drawn 242 comics, 242 strips, which is interesting because not even a year's worth, technically speaking. But I kind of feel like, in a way, I'm kind of doing like they're doing now with the subscription service television. You know, I feel like I've only done a few of these, technically speaking. If you think about it, you know, Calvin and Hobbes had thousands of strips. And I'm not really that worried. It's fun doing these guys. And it's kind of like it's a world that I enjoy being in. But I'm not that stressed that I haven't managed to produce a full year's worth of comics yet. Kind of find that funny. What's even funnier to me, though, is that these characters have been with me for 20 years. And they're all pretty much the same today that they were 20 years ago. Like some of the physical impossibilities of some of these characters. AR, for some reason, is always a hexagon from all angles. Perpetually a hexagon. And it's like, well, it's cute and funny all at the same time. And certainly, I'm not down on myself for any of this, by the way. I'm more interested that 20 years ago, in 2000, I was sitting there one day and watching the news or reading the news that Charles Schultz was going to retire. And I thought, I can do a Peanuts comic, except I will do it about robots instead of little kids. That's sort of where this all came from. And it's, you know, it's sort of the nature of the beast. But I think that's one of the reasons why I can't get political with this. I can't do anything stressy, or, you know, nobody gets to die in the comic and things like that. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that its original purpose was to be a sort of newspaper-esque comic in the vein of Peanuts. And so feel like we can't get too deep with it because of the nature of how I designed it in the first place. It has its own internal rule system. I can get very deep with my other comics, but not with Peanuts, or not with Springs anyway, because it can't be too dramatic.
you know. The thing it really is aggravating is
in 2000, there were only like a handful of comics out there. And I didn't ever really think about it. About putting this out on the web was even weirder, considering. But I could have been. I could have been putting this out on the web since 2000. We could have had quite a few of these strips by now. But that's okay. I mean, it's fine. I'm not that worried. I just find it interesting. It's that I didn't think about that. I find that even more interesting because I consider myself, to have been very geeky and aware. Just goes to show how powerful a thing having imposter syndrome is. That's how powerful it is. Pen. You need to be on pen. There we go. Imposter syndrome is an amazingly powerful thing. I didn't think anybody would care. But now it's a little different because now I don't care if anyone cares. You know what I mean? I just really don't. It's fine if nobody likes my comics. I really just don't care. There once was a time when that was important because I was like, why would anybody care for my comics? See you later, my friend. I'll see you whenever you get back. Draw well and drape well. He's doing draperies. Anyway, I'm always entertained. Drapery is such a pain in the butt. And so, oh man, I love the fact that artists have like our own little. We all have our little like things that we all live on here. Okay. I want to add just a little bit more to my upper panel here. So we're going to do this real quick because I feel like it needs to have a little bit more like wall decoration or something. There we go. There's a zone up here. It's just sort of empty. Okay. We're rolling into the end of this comic. It is interesting to note that even with color and not knowing what the heck I want to do, we're down to about an hour to complete a strip. This wasn't very complicated as far as a strip goes. It's a single panel, and it is one joke, but it's still viable and not bad at all. So there we go. So we're kind of doing good here. I like the setup, the layout, everything looks good. We're doing fine, all is well. So I'm going to go ahead and save this guy. I'm just going to take one last look over everything, make sure everything is good. Yeah, we're solid. Okay. We're going to back out and kind of do a couple of things. One, we're going to crop the page because we can't crop from this way. Change canvas size. That's the one we want because we want to crop it down to here. And we crop off this top part. And the major reason we crop off that top part is because A, I don't own the copyrights to it, clearly. And B, it's not necessary. It's just there to give me a little bit of a guide, right? And next thing we do is we take out the backdrop texture, which puts that there. Actually, we should probably just trim this. One of the reasons I like to do this is because it's kind of one of those things where take the backdrop and we hit delete on this one. That allows this top part to be transparent whenever I make this into a transparent GIF. Because a transparent PNG is what I do is I'll usually just make this into a PNG. The other thing I want to make sure is the panel backdrop is out. And this is because, and the support is off. Once these two are off, there's nothing behind there except for whatever background I put in. And at this point in time, looking at it, all of it, everything, we just double check everything, make sure everything's good. We hit save. And then we hit Control-Shift-E. Control-Shift-E mixes down everything on here except for what you don't necessarily want, right? So all of these guys, all the way through to here, are trashed, right? All that's left is just the comic. So now I'm going to then say, change image resolution. And I want the width to be 1200. And the reason is because when I change my resolution, that's the size that fits best in Facebook is 1200 by 628. That's why I've designed it this way. That is the maximum size for posting to Facebook without it adjusting its size for you or anything like that. So once we do that, it goes down like so. Now, one of the things also that I recommend for all artists is never release the full resolution version of your art. Never, never, never. Never put that out there on the web. If you ever have to contest who drew a comic or who drew a picture, you want to be able to go to a court and show that you have higher resolution. Because the higher resolution proof, the more resolution you've got, the better it is that you can make proof that this was yours. So now that I've done this, I will save as, and we will save as a PNG, this guy, 242. Save. Right? And now we're done. And this guy is out the door. And we will move back to Ring Camera. And I will go to Facebook and we will post it while we're here. Now, the thing is that I post to my GS Davis art page all the time. Really wish it would stop asking me what games I play. I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, it's great, but you know, it's a thing. We're going to create a post even though we're in the middle of a broadcast at this moment. But that's okay because that's part of the humor of things. Okay, so we're going to create a new post and I'm telling you all about this because really I don't want you to get all the passwords and everything because you're a thief out there and you know it. I'm just kidding. No one's really a thief. I mean, there are a couple of people who are obviously goofballs, but yeah, we got better things to do with our lives, right? Okay, springs. I have my 30 tags that I put in for springs, right? So we want to go to the business suite on this, which is on the business side. I got to remember how to do all the business suite things. I'm really not good at the business suite thing. Business suite. Maybe? They've moved it. Dang it. I had it tagged once so that I could remember where it went. But I seem to have lost that. It's all right. That's all right. We'll get there. Okay, so we will go to maybe, because it does need to be in the business suite. Otherwise, we can't. I feel like every time I get in here, it's different. But that's probably not true. I just feel like it. And so I feel kind of like whenever we're doing this, I have to figure out how to get into the business suite. And it's harder than it looks. William. Business post. I shall type that in. Online event. No. Probably not where I'm headed. Pages. See, it used to say, hey, did you want to do this as a business thing? And oh, yeah, it's a great idea. And I was stupid enough not to bookmark that when I thought about it. I thought about doing that. I thought about bookmarking it when we were at that point. We were like, well, there we go. We got to figure out how to start a business post out here, and I'm not sure how to do this. It says start streaming. Create a tournament event. Yeah. Gaming. Well, any ideas, guys? Anybody out there know how to start a business post? Look at my picture. I'm awesome. That's not what I want to do. And maybe I'll just start a post and see if I can't. Okay, so there's a reason why I'm headed for the business post. In Facebook, they've now linked to my Instagram. So now whenever I fire out a post on GS Davis, it automatically goes to Instagram, but only if I go to the business post part. Wow, I pushed a button. I'm curious what this will do. Oh, Creator Studio. That might be useful. Wow, this is really fascinating. Okay, here we go. I'm live. It says I'm live. Hey, look at that. I'm live. Did you know you were live? Did you know? I knew. Okay, videos you can cross-post. Post testing, stories, playlist, series, instant articles, post timeline. Settings. Okay. Page settings, page quality. Monetization. I'm really not monetizing anything. I just want to create a post. Create post. Oh, good. Create post. Instagram has discard. Clicky. Can I clicky both? This is Earth Towel. I don't want Earth Towel. Okay, we're having real problems here because I can't seem to. Wheel. Create post. Create post. It doesn't say where to add. Right? I'm wondering whether I'm truly live, or maybe I'm just a facsimile of me. Maybe I'm a fake me. There has to be a way because it's got choose a page to create a test from. G.S. Davis. Choose key metric. Man, I don't know, Brian. I'm sitting here kind of like trying to figure out how to get all of this stuff figured out. There used to be a way that I could post to my Instagram account and my pages and permissions. Okay, let's take a look at what pages and permissions we've got. Well, you just went back to my main page. Is this the real world? Or is this just fantasy? I'm caught in a landslide. There's no escape from reality. All right. Resources and tools. Business resources. I don't even know what. I feel like Facebook for business. Well, see, they've made this hard. That's aggravating. Publishing tools. Easy come, easy go, I guess. Yeah. Publishing tools. Creator Studio, branded content. Create post here. Post. Huh. Okay, there we go. That just took way too long. Way of the house husband. You talking about a video? Wait, because there is a comic a Japanese comic, which is called something about house husband. And that's why I'm getting confused. Anyway, I don't know if that's a thing. Are we talking about something completely different here? All right. Actually, I'm going to delete all our videos. What do you mean by way of the house husband? Was that a link you sent me that I missed somehow? All those in. And this says, hey, everyone. Happy Monday the Springs. Springs. Immediately entertained. Instagram. Then I can put in those. And for you, I put in Springs comic. Fewer than 1,000 posts. That's good. Yeah, I think that's cute. Fewer than 1,000 posts. Oh, it's all good. Make sure that all of those are in. Make sure all of those are in. Add photo. Look at me almost doing this right. So are we saying that I'm a house husband? Because actually, I kind of am. But I'm just saying, are we saying that? Because, you know, it's kind of a thing. Do. Man. Instagram doesn't like it. It says it's the wrong aspect ratio for Instagram. I have posted this way like forever. Huh. 4:5 or 1.91:1. Well, that's a thing I wasn't expecting. There are one or more issues that need to be resolved. Huh. That's interesting. I had no. I could be. Anything could be happening. Yes. But it's always for baking. Okay, let's go back over here because clearly we are having issues. Let's check a new one. Do image, and let's see if we can't do 4:5. Okay, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna say 4:5 aspect ratio.
is 1200 by 1500. So, okay, so what's going on right now is that Instagram has, or rather the poster for Facebook has just decided to dump me because I'm not at the correct Instagram ratio size. So we're going to have to reorganize everything so I can do this. It has never, by the way, rejected me before. It's rejecting me today. So 1.91 by 1 is 608 by 1080. So let's reload into here, and let's take a look. We'll load 242 in again, and I'll switch us back to well, I've got so many things up now. I'll switch us back to the monitor so you can see what's going on here. So the ratio for this guy right now is now set for Facebook. Facebook's ratio is 1260 by 628, and that's what, or 1200 by 628. That's the wrong aspect ratio now for Instagram. So we're going to take a look here, and this is what Instagram's wanting. Instagram wants 1.91 to 1, which is 1080 by 608. So it's going to have to be trimmed in. Because we need to go, instead of 1200 by 1628, all right, 608, I need to figure out what. Let's do 1.91 to 1 at 1200. And that looks like a thingy. Why am I feeling I'm going to be stuck on strange? 1200 by there. Ratio calculator is 1.91 to 1. No, I need that here. 1.91 to 1. 1200, calculate. 628. Okay, we got something here. Something's not right. 1200, change image resolution. 1200 by 628. (1.91 to 1) is 1200 by 628. (628 by 1200), wrong aspect ratio. It must be 1.91 to 1. Anybody else seeing a problem here? 1200 by 628 is 1.91 to 1. I mean, I'm kind of confused here. I'm all ready to change the aspect ratio, but this is 1.91 to 1. This is not, by the way, the first time that Facebook has confused the heck out of me. So, well, there you go, guys. Live on air. Well, I sit there and go and wonder why we are at it kind of makes me wonder if I trim like 1 pixel off, 1 pixel row, will that make it work? Or is this just borked? The Creator Studio? Is the Creator Studio just confused? I don't know. Let's see. You know what? I will crop it. There we go. Okay, I've got to show you this. No, I got to show you this. This is awesome. I cropped it as it recommended. It recommended I crop it. So now it's at 628 by 1199. We have to understand that 628 by 1200 is illegal. But 628 by 1199 is fine. I'm going for the cropped look. Well, there you go. So we fixed the problem by cropping literally 1 row of pixels off the side. Okay, hope nobody understands. Nobody worries about that here. Okay, I don't get it. So we're publishing it out now. There we go. That post has been published. For those of you who are wondering, the post then also goes to Reddit, where I will post it to r/comics. Because there's a site called r/comic strips. Right? Exactly. It's like, ooh, it's my OCD. I will create a post here, and I will. All posts on r/comic strips tend to be original content. So. And I will call this strip Puffy Break. So we'll put this one up there. And it asks me if it's got a caption. I don't have a caption really for it. We'll just post it. There we go. And now it's posted also to Reddit and r/comic strips, which is something I try to do every week just to give a little bit more distance for it. I don't know. It's a thing. I get it. I don't know. What do I know? So now we've got now we've put the comic out in all these different locations and things like that. And that is the way we do Springs every week. And to be fair, I could have probably finished this 20 minutes ago if I hadn't sat there and had to argue over literally 1 strip of pixels. Somehow Not sure how. Somehow we get kind of this weird, bizarre thing going on with Facebook from time to time that makes me go, are you broken? Are you okay? Is there something wrong with you? Do you need help? Still processing the image up to Reddit, which is fine. I can only post to Reddit now from my computer, which is part of the problem that I'm having which is why I'm glad that Instagram now allows me to post from the business suite of Facebook, because for a while there it was some things had to be posted on my phone, some things had to be posted on my computer, some things had to be posted from a tablet. And it was like, I can't seem to ever figure out which system I needed to use. And it's frustrating to me because I don't know if I'm just getting older. I might be getting older, but it's frustrating to me to remember all of these steps. And of course it's part of who we are as far as artists. We've got to make sure that these things go the right spot, do the right things, yada, yada, yada. So there we go. Hey, Brian, I'm glad you joined me today. And you actually someday should literally join me. I mean, like, come on to the show here and draw with me. I'm just not into the, dragging you, kicking and screaming onto the show. So when you feel like you want to hang out with me here online, feel free. Just give me a holler. And then you and I can draw together. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on, I need to do a couple of more small things before I can move on to some pre-work for Bellatrix Rising, and we've got to start getting there. I'm going to start putting together backgrounds and set design and things like that, because for me and my comics, we use a lot of 3D pre-work in the background. So I want to make sure all of that stuff's ready. I've got to get all the internal workings of the Kitty-Wake running. That means we got to finish the deck plans for the Kitty-Wake. I really enjoy all of this stuff. So it's not like this is excessive for me. It's just, I really enjoy doing deck plans. I enjoy building sets. I enjoy doing all of that. That's why it's part of my creative process. But once we get there, putting together the comics are really easy. And I can just keep putting together more comics and over and over and over. But that's something we got to do. And so we're going to be doing that throughout the week. We're wrapping up our work with Airship 27. I'm going to be wrapping up some of my work with Fred. So this is the battle plan for right now. We've still got tons of work to do. Tomorrow I have a photo shoot at noon. I hope to goodness we can get our butt out of here. So tomorrow we'll be getting out of here at 11 o'clock as sharp as we possibly can. So in the meantime, I'm glad you joined me, Brian, and everybody else who's joined me as well. I hope you have a wonderful Monday and the week is off to a great start. And until tomorrow, keep your eyes on the stars, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.